Welcome to Brands Hatch. This is Eurosport. We are today at Brands Hatch for round 8 of the BPR Global Endurance GT Championship, the Gulf Oil Global GT 4 hours, and a massive grid here, 43 cars for this race, counting towards what is all but name the World Sports Car Championship. Now the big surprise this weekend, the factory Porsche, the GT1 that won the GT category at Le Mans this year, on pole position, Hans Stuck and Terry Boutsen. It's the car's debut in the BPR series, and it has absolutely blitzed all the Porsches. So Stuck and Boutsen on pole, Ray Bellum and James Weaver for Gulf McLaren on the second row of the grid. On the second place, second row of the grid, Jeff Lees, Tiffany Dell in the Lister Storm, and John Nielsen, Thomas Bisher, the 95 champions for Gulf McLaren. Also on row 2. Row 3, Andy Wallace, Olivier Griard for Harrods McLaren, and Anders Olofsson and Luciano Dellanocci in the only Ferrari F40 here this weekend. The others preferring to prepare for the Spa 4 hours, which comes up in 2 weeks' time. Well, a massive crowd here at Brands Hatch. On the pace lap now, following the pace car round. This beautiful Grand Prix circuit, home to the British Grand Prix for so many years, 4.18 kilometers, that's 2.6 miles. Circuit that goes out into the country, in amongst the trees, and eventually comes back into what is now called the IndyCar circuit here at Brands Hatch. Well, there, just confirmation of the starting grid. That Lister Storm that's shown so well in recent races, taking third fastest. There's the Harrods McLaren, there's the Ferrari F40, 5th and 6th to make row 3 of the grid. And further back, Owen Jones, Raffinel for Gulf McLaren. Jan Lammers strangely off form in the Lotus Esprit this weekend. And also Mike Hazeman a little bit back, but they're splitting them, the Dodge Viper of Philippe Gache and Eric Hillary. Also Viper, Beretta and Justin Bell of Britain, and then completing row 6, Thomas Saldana and Christophe Bouchou in the fastest of the Kramer Porsches. Cor Oyser, Tommy Erdos, Ferdinand de Lesseps taking pole for Marcos in the GT2 category, but only just ahead of Bob Wallach. Rook Porsche, Eichmann Rook Kelleners, second overall in the series and leading the GT2 series. And then there's the rest of this massive 43 car field, more than half of which is Porsches this weekend. 2 McLarens missing, the Giroir car and the BVA car, they too preparing for Le Mans. Those 3 Ferraris missing, but that one still there up in the hunt. But of course, all this made up for by the presence of this incredible Porsche 911 GT1, which Porsche built for Le Mans, won Le Mans GT first time out, and now looking to make a successful debut here in the BPR series. So the field coming back, coming under starters orders. Lights about to go to green. Round Clearways, then into Clark Curve, and then onto the Brabham Straight, which is the start-finish straight, but always at Brands Hatch the problem. Paddock Hill Bend, the melee going into that first corner. Here they come, Handstuck holding the whole field in check. The lights go to green. James Weaver looking for the chance to lead him into Paddock Hill Bend, and Weaver, I think, gets the jump. He gets the whole shot. Yes, he goes the long way around the outside of Hans Stuck. It's Weaver leading from Stuck, leading from Lees. Oh, there's a problem there. We saw Raffinel spinning that Gulf Porsche, but it's Weaver now leading. Oh, and off goes John Nielsen. He takes Anders Olofsson off with him. So 2 McLarens and 1 Ferrari all off the track in the first 2 corners. James Weaver breaking away in the Gulf McLaren as Olofsson and Nielsen get themselves back together. But look at this, Weaver, what a fine performance leading this vastly more powerful Porsche 911 GT1 with its twin turbo power, 600 horsepower, and just so much punch coming from those turbos, even with the restrictors. Of course, the difference being that is a race car that has had a road car version built of it, while as Weaver is driving what was basically a road car, now turned into a racer, very successfully as well. McLaren winners of Le Mans last year on their debut, and winners of the BPR series last year. Let's have a look again. Well, Weaver just gets the pedal to the metal, and he leads the whole field into Paddock Bend. the first time round, but Raphael on cold tyres spins that car, does a 360 through the middle of the pack. They all miss him somehow, and he continues unscathed but losing a number of places. Let's see what happened at Druids when John Nielsen, oh, he touches the Ferrari. I think they touch there. Nielsen spins, goes backwards into the Ferrari. So both of them involved in that. And Nielsen with a little bit of a bent back of the car, and particularly the exhaust pipe bent downwards. But James Weaver still leading the field here at Brands Hatch, round 8 of the Global Endurance GT Series. Weaver really holding off the stuck Porsche down through Graham Hill Bend, Long Cooper Straight, pulling around for Surtees. Oh, but Weaver goes wide, he goes very wide, he locks up a front left, he goes wide, and of course Stuck is just waiting there. The wily old master of endurance racing it is, goes straight through on the inside and takes the lead as they go into the country for the second time. Massive crowd here enjoying this racing, over 20,000 people here at Brands Hatch. Beautiful, sunny September day. Stuck, Weaver, and behind them, Jeff Lees. In the Lister Storm, he's sharing with Tiff Needell, still in third place. Then Andy Wallace, Olivier Griard. And behind him, Jan Lammers in the Lotus. Stuck starts to pull away. They go down the dip through Pilgrim's Drop, up Hawthorne Hill, into Hawthorne Bend. Let's have a look again at what happened halfway through the second lap. Well, Weaver goes very, very wide, too fast. He's got that front left well and truly locked up, and that's just the chance that Stuck was waiting for. Slipped through on the inside, no drama. This Porsche outstandingly faster than everyone else during qualifying and the three training sessions on Friday, although this morning in the warm-up Porsche preferred to concentrate on race preparation, and it was Jeff Lees who put the Lister Storm fastest in the warm-up session. Well, 2 laps completed. There is the order, and the Viper in a very good 6th place there. That's the car of Eric Hellery. Once again out into the country, and that Lister Storm, which has one of Tom Walkinshaw's Jaguar XJR12 Le Mans engines installed in the front of it. To great effect here, 3rd fastest in qualifying, and now running 3rd in the race, and it looks like he's closing a little on James Weaver. Well, fastest lap goes to Hans Stuck already this early in the race, 1:23.483, a little bit off the qualifying pace. That was 1:21.1. The Porsche reckoning 1:22s, 1:23s would be the race pace. A little bit worried about consumption, but not this early in the race. Hans Stuck handing over to Terry Batson later on, these two having won at Le Mans together. Bob Wallach was the 3rd man in the car. He's driving with Conrad Porsche in GT2 today, and they're out to beat the Marcos of Cor Oyser and Tommy Erdos, which at this very moment is leading the GT2 category after having claimed pole in Saturday qualifying. So the first time out for this Porsche in the BPR series. But for Bellum and James Weaver, 3 victories, a big accident out in the country. This is Steve O'Rourke, manager of Pink Floyd, in the white 66 EMI car, and the other car involved, Rafael Sanguila. They had a collision out in the country on Derek Minter Straight. Big accident for both cars, neither driver hurt luckily, and marshals running to their rescue. O'Rourke perhaps a little bit winded, sitting there just getting his breath back. All that wreckage appears to be one of the marker boards rather than the cars, but still a very unsettling accident so early in the race. Well, there's little Morgan of Bill Wickham. There is the Enya Ferrari of Olafsson playing catch-up now after spinning off at this very point of the circuit earlier when he and Nielsen collided. But this is the race leader. This is Hans Stuck, and James Weaver catching up again, closing up, and right behind Weaver, that Lister Storm, this amazing front engine, almost an anachronism. So the first 3 cars fighting out the lead here at Brands Hatch in round 8 of the Global Endurance GT Series. Stuck leading, James Weaver 2nd for Gulf McLaren, sponsors of the race, and 3rd Jeff Lees in the Newcastle United Adidas Lister Storm, the Toon Army car. We're going to take a short break. Make sure you rejoin us for our continuing coverage of Brands Hatch GT. Well, welcome back to Eurosport. You join me, Mark Cole, looking at today's 8th round of the BPR International Endurance GT Series. This is Brands Hatch, and leading the race, the factory Porsche of Hanstook and Terry Boutson. This is the battle for second place. James Weaver in the Gulf McLaren, and right alongside him, the Lister Storm of Jeff Lees, the Toonami car, having a real go down the inside. This is a big, big surprise. Who expected to see the Lister Storm with its V12 Jaguar engine challenging the championship leaders, James Weaver and Ray Bellum, in that Gulf McLaren? We're tucked in behind Andy Wallace as well, and then Jan Lammers. So these 4 cars at the moment fighting over second place around this 4.12 kilometre Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit here in Kent in the Garden of England. Sun has gone for a little while and it's come back again now, and the big crowd thrilling to the return of sports car racing on an international scale to Brands Hatch for the first time since 1989. And Group C racing saw Maribaldi and Kenny Atchison winning for Sauber Mercedes. Weaver, Lees, Andy Wallace and Jan Lammers, 4 of the top drivers in this series, being led by the newcomer, Hanstook. Hanstook, a Le Mans winner himself. Weaver's never won Le Mans. Jeff Lees hasn't, but Andy Wallace has and Jan Lammers has. They both won Le Mans together. Now they're slugging it out in the Harrods McLaren and in the factory Lotus Esprit twin turbo. Bit of smoke coming from Lammers' car there, but something we've often seen from a Lotus, nothing to worry about. Lotus, of course, will be going to the new Elise next year as their GT1 car. Weaver braking heavily on that cambered Stirling's corner, charging down towards Clearways. Passing one of the Dodges, one of the French Dodges, not the factory Dodge Vipers, which are being run by Huda Schonak's Oreca team. Meanwhile, up ahead, race leader Hanstook with that distinctive star-studded helmet. There's Weaver, and there's Lees again. Lees has the edge on the McLaren as they go up through these tight parts through Druids, and as they come back out of the country part of the circuit, Lees catches up, but where Weaver scores with this BMW V12 power, it's big move by Lees. Where he scores is he can pull away now on these long straights when they go down. Pilgrims drop up into Hawthorne Hill, braking hard for Hawthorne Bend, 180 miles an hour at parts of this circuit here. Andy Wallace perhaps falling back just a little bit. He's chosen a softer compound than the other Goodyear shod West McLaren, and it appears to be slowing up a little bit. He is losing touch slightly with the Lister Storm, but look at this heavy traffic. This might let Wallace get back in touch again. He won at Silverstone with Olivier Griard. It's the only win they've had this year, despite 3 back-to-back wins at the end of 1995 for Harrods. Now fighting back again. But Weaver in second, Lees in third. There's the Porsche that's leading just in front. They're passing Prince Alfonso's Kramer GT2 Porsche there. Alfonso, one of the Spanish drivers, driving with the German Kramer team this year. And still, it's blitzkrieg by the Mobile Porsche 911 GT1. Well, they're on the 12th lap. Here is the order at the moment. No changes, you can see, but Raffanel moving up now into 5th place. A good move there. After his first lap nonsense, Lammers, having been passed by Raffanel in the second of the Gulf cars and pushed down a little bit. So Lammers does have some sort of problem. He's radioed to the pits saying he has electrical problems. I think we've got a car that's heading for retirement here, number 77, which is the Jelski, Peter Cycle and Chambers in their Porsche 911. Peter Cycle's German team. Looks like it's out of the race, possibly with a blown turbo. Hanstook, no problems. Still carving through back markers and starting now to pull away from Weaver and from the Newcastle car. Off at top of Paddock Hill. Paddock Hill bend claims another victim. Saunders, Lugenet and Butti's car. Well, the Marshals abandoning it, they're not going to get out. It's the Par Motorsport car and David Saunders. Well, Buttirio, Stefano Buttirio has put it off, in fact. He's out of the car, he's okay. The Stuck continues to lead the race. Well, meanwhile, behind them, GT2 still being fought out between Marcos, between Conrad Porsche and between Rook Porsche. Conrad sporting Bob Wallach, the man who won at Le Mans with Stuck and Boutsen, but he's preferring to race in GT2 these last few races, as the GT1 Evolution car, the pre-runner to the factory Porsche, is not proved reliable this year. Engines and transmissions just not taking the stress. They're trying to keep up with the McLarens, with the Lotuses, with the Lister Storms, and with the Ferraris. The Ferraris sadly missing, as we said, Jean-Marc Gounon, the fastest man in the series this year. He's here this weekend to do the Lamborghini trophy race, but not racing in the BPR with what has always been the quickest of the Ferraris. Weaver and Lee's old sparring partners, very good friends off the track, but trying so desperately to claim second place here at the moment at Brands Hatch. Well, Jan Lammers dropping even further back as we continue to watch the second place battle. Hans Stuck out ahead, the sun out again now, causing problems though, the sunshine, because most of the corners here at Brands Hatch are blind brows, and then out in the country with the trees you get extremes of shadow and sun, black and white almost. Here is the classification, GT2. We're now 24 laps into this 4-hour race. Cor Reuser, Tommy Erdős and Ferdinand de Lesseps leading Conrad Wallach and Stefan Ortelli, and the championship leaders in GT2, Bruno Eichmann, Gert Busch and Ralph Kelleners in their Porsche 911 GT2. Cor Reuser, Tommy Erdős, really the stars of GT2 this year in the British-built Marcos 600 LM. Had 2 wins this year already. Now looking for more. Lammers is in the pits. He has got electrical problems, as we reported. So Lammers and Chris Goodwin. Chris Goodwin now in the car, waiting to go out again as they refuel, but it's not a routine stop. They've had to come in early. They'll send him out again and keep an eye on the electrical problems. Here's again the second place battle. Oh, there's a fire in the pits. This is Eric Hellery's Viper. He's been off the track. He rejoined the track, got himself back to the pits, but there the car self-ignited and it is out of the race. None of this stopping this second place lead battle as it goes through Dingledale, through Stirlings, down through the bridge, under the bridge, clearways, and once again into Clark Curve and Brabham Straight at the completion of yet another lap. Well, the Lister's still hanging on there. Well, it was because James Weaver, now the Lister comes in, James Weaver in second place. Lister makes its first routine stop. There's Lawrence Pierce in the Newcastle strip there, changing the bottle. Out gets Jeff Lees, in gets Tiffany Dell. As Handstruck bumps the car over the entrance to paddock, a famous bumps caught many Formula Fordsters out in the Formula Ford Festival. Lights ablaze, heading for his first pit stop fairly soon. Oh, problem for Chamberlain Jaguar. This is the Chamberlain Jaguar. They've got a problem. The car goes down the hill, it slows down, then it kicks itself up again. Jeff Lister on board. Suddenly gets it going again, showing the car with Win Percy. Of course, a Jaguar man from Le Mans days. Oh, and a problem also for the French Dodge Viper Luigi racing car, trying to reverse round Druids. Well, he gets going again without causing too many problems, one hopes. As the race at this moment comes a little confused with pit stops. Let's have a look at his spin again. Here comes Luigi. There goes the tail. He goes round. We're going to take another short break. Rejoin us for part 3 of Brands Hatch GTs. We're back with Eurosport. We're back at Brands Hatch, and we're looking at the pit stop of the leading car, the factory Porsche 911 GT1 Handstuck, handing over to Terry Bouts and strapping him in. Norbert Singer, the team manager, overseeing this first stop, routine stop. Car has to be fueled first. They've got tyres ready just in case. Running on Michelin's, incidentally, as opposed to this car, the Harrods car, which is on Goodyear tyres. So it's still very much a battle of the tyre companies in international GT racing this year. Gulf McLaren's also on Michelin's, and this man with a problem, this is Rob Sherl, one of the front runners in the British GT Championship. He's got a problem because Marcos has got a collapsed suspension. He's just gone past the pits, so he will have to do a full lap. We're picking up here the battle now between Raffanel and Andy Wallace. Oliver Griard now in the car. It's Griard, and in fact, Lindsay Owen-Jones has taken over the Gulf car. This is the battle for 5th place, and the Harrods McLaren just moving up into 5th after Andy Wallace was slowed down by those wrong tyres. Too soft compound, he told us. Terry Batson, of course, there, always and off. One of the Porsches here, the 85 Porsche. This is another of the Luigi cars, and this is Gianluigi Locatelli. I think he'll probably get the car going again. Yep. So Locatelli, oh, the steering's broken, so it is going to be all over. So another car joins the dead car park all around the circuit. Which broke first, the steering or the driver? Nice shot here of Terry Batson now in the Porsche. Absolutely flying in this car. As we see Locatelli going off again, and it's so close in front of that Porsche. Well, this is Mike Hazeman in the number 21 Lotus with Alex Portman. They're doing a good job at the moment, and now John Nielsen playing catch up. There's the damage at the back of the car. You can see it, the back's hanging off. The exhaust pipes have been bent a little, and Dave Price, who runs the car, concerned this could affect their fuel consumption. Lillian Brenner, the First Lady of GT Racing, and Enzo Calderari in 4th place in GT2 at the moment. They're the 1995 GT2 champions, but finding not so easy this year up against Marcos, Rook and Conrad. Lillian gets in and prepares to go out. John Nielsen, that back still flapping round. Oh, and Mike Hazeman into the pits. They've got a problem there. George Howard Chappell, Ian Foley, the 2 directors of Lotus Racing, along with Mike Hazeman's father, Twan Hazeman, who's just invested a large amount of money in it, having a look, but they have got a problem, and it turns out to be a gearbox oil leak, and they will be retiring after 75 laps of the 4-hour race. There is the order: Stuck, Batson, Bellum Weaver, Lees Nadell, no changer in the top 3, Wallace and Griard, and then Nielsen, Bisher and Owen Jones, Raffanel. Those 2 cars, the West and the Gulf cars, having changed places again, 5th and 6th. And then leading GT2 now, there it is, Conrad, Wallach and Ortelli, because Cor Oiser, Tommy Erdos and Ferdinand de Lesseps slowed a little by their French driver, unfamiliar with the car, but worse, had to make an unscheduled stop because they had picked up rubber and there was an imbalance on the tyres. 69 they're spinning, that's the Proton competition car, Patrick Vuillam and Gerald Reed. On charges the Lister Storm. We've seen it second in so many races this year, only to break with transmission problems. Engine's always been strong. Now Jeff Leeds in 3rd place with Tiff Nadell. Tiff actually at the wheel at the moment, charging down under the bridge. But he's slowing and he's pulling over towards the pit entrance. So Tiff Nadell pulling over into the pit lane. This looks like it could be an unscheduled stop. Oh, Tiff almost misses the pit. Come up behind the stricken Lotus. Lotus about to be pushed away. Well, he completely missed the pit. So the Lister team has to wheel the car back. Out gets Tiff, doing a great job, not just a television reporter, but also a very, very competent endurance driver. What's happening here? Let's have a look. A lot of coming together here. Oh, Porsche's fighting to try and pass each other. Hans Stuck, Terry Boutson's car ploughing through the middle of all these back markers. That caused a big scare for everyone. And out goes Jeff Lees back into the fray, still in third place in the Lister Storm. Headlights ablaze. Still chasing Weaver and Bellum in the Golf car. Could this be their day? Well, back out goes Mike Hazeman. Car he's showing Alex Portman. They seem to cure the gearbox oil leak. Oh, it's very, very slow out of the pits. There is a problem there. There is a problem there, but no problem for this man. Terry Batson leading in the mobile Porsche, having just passed the Callaway Corvette here. Pit stop for the second place Weaver Bellum car. Bellum now in the car. Man who was 3 times World C2 champion, won Le Mans twice in C2 category, and he really is the person who brought McLaren into GT racing. Went to his friends Ron Dennis and Gordon Murray, said, I've got a road car, now I want you to build me a race car. They did. And the $1 million McLaren was born. 6 of them racing regularly in the championship, plus 2 this year, 4 Bugatti, plus cars in Japan, plus the car that won Le Mans last year. So far, 60 McLaren F1s have been built, of which about 15 of them are the GTR race version. Well, there's the Harrods car. It's a 95 car as opposed to Bellum and Weaver's 96 car. They've just used 96 update parts. And Harrods team boss Moody Fayed, considering his options next year, will he continue with this, with a McLaren, or will he look at something else? He doesn't know yet. Wallace and Griard, certainly for him, an ideal pairing. Calm Englishman, a mercurial Frenchman. And in fact, they are now in second place. They have just at the pit stops gone ahead of Weaver and Bellum, but they have to stop again later. Maybe Wes McLaren in 4th place at Lister Storm, pushed back a couple of places by the pit stops. Here's Ray Bellum looking to pass Thomas Bisher with that extra airfoil underneath the car. Race officials having taken no action, surprisingly. I remember very clearly John Clellan being black flagged for having a flapping bumper in one of the British touring car rounds about 3 years ago. He was furious about it. I think he's furious if he's watching this because the West car is not being called in. Oh, the Lister Jaguar's back in the pits. There's a problem. It's all over. It's all over. Head gasket failure, reports Lawrence Pierce. There's the proof, there's the smoke from the car. It's following the race leader, and a lot of smoke coming out of the car. Jeff Lee's on board, and when he gets back, they find indeed a very, very rare failure for one of Walkinshaw's XJR12 engines, head gasket. But what a great drive. Congratulations to Jeff Lees and Tiff Needell on a super job against Porsche and McLaren. All around the circuit, these battles still continuing, pockets of resistance to the McLaren onslaught behind the Porsche Blitzkrieg. Big lock up there from Ray Bellum. He's now desperately trying to get by John Nielsen. There's the Morgan. It's lost its front end. Bill Wickham and Charles Morgan doing a good job. Oh, there's the bonnet. It's come off completely. Let's hope they have got another one. Heading back towards the pits, showing off their V8 engine. Well, Porsche still leading here in round 8 of the International GT Series at Brands Hatch, as the marshals get the Morgan bonnet out of the way, ready to put in the boot of their car and take home. We're going to take a short break as Jan Lammers is pushed into retirement. Join me, Mark Cole, at a very, very sunny Brands Hatch. We are watching the leader of the 8th round of the BPR International Endurance GT Championship. Hans Stuck and Terry Boutson on board the mobile Porsche 911 GT1. And just look at the flame out on this car. So much back pressure in these twin-turboed car that won Le Mans. This is the actual car that won Le Mans, and Hans Stuck on board at the moment. Terry Boutsen drove with him. Bob Wallach also drove with them, but he at the moment is leading GT2 in the Conrad Porsche. Through Surtees, up the hill, over the dip, down through Pilgrim's Drop. Oh, problems, big problems. This is the second place car. James Weaver and Ray Bellham, after the pit stops, was located firmly in second place on the same lap as the Porsche, but the reports coming in are the engine is blown. This is a catastrophe. It is the first time one of the BMW V12s has ever let go. It's grenaded. Apparently, Weaver's reported back to the pits. There's been head gasket failures, there's been minor things, but never an explosion of a BMW V12. And James Weaver, not at all happy about that. Out of second place, and of course, leading the championship, looking for maximum points, because Porsche is not allowed to run for points as a factory team. Rob Sherrill's car in trouble again, the British Championship Marcos, pulling off the track. It's got a broken rear wheel, suspension link obviously broken. But none of this phasing. Now Terry Boutsen in the car. And a great effort by Porsche, it has to be said. It's gone like clockwork. Porsche not coming here intending to wipe up the opposition, but really wanting to show off the capabilities of their car. Built for the 24 hours of Le Mans. But they want to sell these as customer cars next year, and they wanted to show this weekend and in 2 weeks' time at Spa that this car is quite capable of running shorter 4-hour races, possibly even sprint races. Herbert Ampfer, the competition's boss of Porsche, accepting that they cannot run for points. Well, next year he's looking forward to maybe 6 or even 8 of these cars running in the BPR and Japanese series, and who knows, maybe even America. We're heading towards the closing stages of the race. We've lost James Weaver and Ray Bellham. This means that the Harrods McLaren of Andy Wallace and Olivier Griard finds itself in second place, and they will get maximum points if they finish there, because the Porsche not running for points means that everybody moves up one place effectively in the points results. Wallace and Griard with just one win so far. Silverstone, they desperately need some points this weekend. They could, if they finish at the moment, move up into 5th equal in the championship, if places don't change in the closing laps. Bellham and Weaver, I think, still safe. They have 164 points even without today's engine detonation. And Thomas Bischer and John Nielsen, if they stay where they are currently in third place, can pull themselves up into second in the championship, passing the Rook GT2 of Eichmann, Roush and Kellners. There is Norbert Singer with Hans Stuck, the Porsche squad watching progress. Norbert Singer, the man who was the architect of all those Porsche victories at Le Mans throughout the years, including the Rothmans Porsche days. Just another day's work for him, and victory, well, he'll just grin, say thank you, and get on with planning for the next race back at Porsche's Weissach competition department outside Stuttgart. So positions at the moment, Stuck and Boutsen leading from Wallace and Griard, Nielsen and Bischer in third, so it's a Dave Price 1-2 at the moment as far as the McLarens are concerned. And in fourth place, Owen Jones and Raffanel, then Olafsson, Dillonocci. We've seen very little of the Ferrari, but they're in 5th place, and in 6th place overall. Fine performance for a GT2 car. Bob Wallach, Franz Conrad and Stefan Ortelli just ahead of the Marcos at the moment, and Rook in third, although Rook as championship leaders have a big enough points gap not to lose the GT2 series lead, at least this weekend. Through Dingledale into Stirling's, braking heavily. Boutsen now being much more circumspect, not so much flame out as we saw earlier. He knows there's heavy traffic there. It's something he and Stuck were aware of throughout qualifying. It was very heavy earlier in the race. Boutsen saying at one stage he had 3 Porsches abreast, almost a whole lap ahead of him, and his lap time dropped from a 22 he'd done the lap before to a 27. Just passing Lilian Breiner and Enzo Calderari's 1995 championship GT2 car. They're in 4th place in GT2 at the moment, by the way. But this is the race leader. This is the car that Disaster Accepted is going to win here at Brands Hatch at the end of 4 hours racing in the Gulf Oil Global 4 hours. So good job by Porsche, good job by Michelin, and a good job, of course, by Stuck and Boutsen, two of the most experienced men here. 163 Grand Prix to the credit of Terry Boutsen, including 3 wins for Williams in 89 and 90. And of course, a very fine sports car racer all his career. Well, the checkered flag's out, and this is another one for Terry Boutsen's portfolio. Victory at Brands Hatch, 1996. In the Gulf Oil, 4 hours. Finishing second, Wallace and Griard in the Harrods McLaren, and third is almost certainly going to be Nielsen and Bisher in the West McLaren. Anything can happen on the last lap, and Pierre Raffanel in the second Gulf McLaren is closing on him at a rate of knots. Boutsen takes the flag. Great victory for Porsche. Wallace and Griard coming up to take second place, 1 lap down on them. Well, there's the scene as we're looking for the runner-up positions. Terry Boutsen on his victory lap, arm waving to the marshals. Oh, problems. This is the 3rd place car. It's the West McLaren. They have got problems, and Raffanel has just passed him on the line to snatch 3rd place. So John Nielsen out of fuel. It turns out that because of the bent exhaust pipe, they're using more fuel than they should, and the car, of course, not as aerodynamic as it should be with that rear end damage. And Owen Jones and Raffanel snatch that 3rd place on the line for Gulf McLaren. Nielsen and Bisher finishing in 4th place for McLaren, and Olafsson and Delanocci in the Seoul factory Enya Ferrari in 5th place. There is the 2nd place car. They get maximum points. They will move into 5th place overall with Owen Jones and Raffanel. Well, Bellem and Weaver keep their championship lead, but Thomas Bisher moves into 2nd with 132 points. 4th place, giving him enough points to take him past Eichmann and Rook on 131, and 4th now in the championship, Olafsson and Delanocci in the Ferrari. So other finishers behind Olafsson and Delanocci in 6th place, winning GT2, Conrad, Wallick and Ortelli. A great drive in the Conrad Porsche, just beating Cor Oyser, Tommy Erdos and Ferdinand de Lesseps in the Marcus. They finish on the same lap, and they finish just 41 seconds apart. 8th place, Olivier Beretta and Justin Bell in the Viper GTSR. Bruno Eichmann, Gert Rouch and Kellners in the Rook Porsche, championship leaders for GT2, still leading the championship. It's now in 3rd place overall, and Brunner and Calderari bringing up those places. Let's go and join Paul Fowler to talk to the winners.
Well, Thierry Boutsen and Hans Stuck, very many congratulations. You must be very pleased. A terrific victory.
Well, yes, I'm very, very happy. It's been quite a few months since I won a race, so I'm very, very happy to be here, very happy to have won this race. The car was absolutely fantastic from the first moment we came here. And what can I say? I just thank everybody, the team and the crew, and the work we have done, all the preparation for this race. After the victory in Le Mans, we win here, so it's fantastic. Couldn't be better.
Hans, did you have a few anxious moments in the pits towards the end of the race?
No, I mean, when you have partners like Thierry Boutsen, I can sit back and have some coffee and some cake. You've seen the car; he's a super driver, and I think he has proven this at the end again today. I must admit, we had a great car, the best car, and we had fantastic tires with Michelin, and this gave us the moment to win here. I'm very happy. Thanks.
And will it be this team in this car next year too?
Yeah, we will do it in 2 weeks again in Spa. This is the next target we have, and next year I hope we continue. From my side, no problem.
Even more racing.
Yes.
Congratulations, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Well, as you heard from Hans Stuck, 2 weeks' time at Spa-Francorchamps, BPR round 9. Eurosport will be there. This has been Mark Coe. Glad you could join us. Keep watching.